Manchester City 1, Manchester United 2. Manchester United have added to Pep Guardiola's misery. 1 win, 11 games for Guardiola. Wow. But before we talk about the game, let's talk about the big news. Ruben Amorim dropped Rashford and Garnacho. We don't know why. We're still guessing. Everybody's still guessing why. Why did these guys drop the? Why did Amorim drop these guys? But were you surprised when you saw that he dropped?
I think that for Garnacho, I'm not surprised with the rumor. I think in the last 48 hours or thereabout about his brother being responsible for some of the dressing room leaks. So obviously that trickles down to Garnacho. So for me, yeah, it's needed for the sake of discipline. The coach has to stamp their authority. We are building something. There is a culture, and for the last 7-8 years, these have been issues. Players have been leaking a lot of things, dressing the dressing room, activities from their meetings, the points during meetings, maybe rifts between maybe managers and certain players, things like team selection and all of that. And then for Garnacho also, if you ask me, in the last couple of weeks, he has been in the news. I think before the last international break, where he was sort of like, where he scored the goal and didn't celebrate.
This lineup was leaked 24 hours before the game.
So you could see that it's needed. For me, on that ground, I think it's needed. Then for Rashi, I think the best I can think of is maybe he's been given some time off to stay away from the team, get your stuff right upstairs. I'm thinking maybe issues around his contract. Is he staying? Is he leaving? And his performances in the last couple of weeks. Also, his unwillingness to sort of like wholeheartedly participate. So I don't know where he is mentally, but I give him the benefit of the doubt because he's human. To be honest, he's human and this is his job. As much as we may come down harsh on him, we also want to understand that he's human. So I want to also believe that vast case for Rashford is somewhere centered also around his performance and his state mentally more than it is physically, because Ruben rather wasn't really precise when he was asked, but he sort of like hinted on Garnacho's case sort of like being disciplinary. So for me, it's honestly, if we're talking about revamping the club and we're talking about, from top bottom, then for me, that's it. Players have to be held accountable. Coaches can't only, be held accountable. So players also have to shoulder responsibilities for wherever they falter also, because it's a collective thing, it's a team thing. People, well over 250 in the last couple of months, well over 250 staffs of Manchester United or former staffs of Manchester United have been relieved of their various jobs or their roles at the club. And I'm very happy for that. I've been shouting and saying we need that total rinsing, that revamp, and that. So if we are requesting for that, we should also requesting for managers and everybody, the executives to be held accountable. I think also the players, it's only right that the players are held accountable. So because at this point in time, we don't need people to come and sort of like pollute the dressing room. Yeah. So that's really my take here.
Okay. Secondly, let's talk about Mason Mount. That guy is made of glass.
I was, to be honest with you,
Mason Mount can forfeit his own salary for a year just to stay fit at this moment.
To be honest with you, I almost broke down into tears at the 13th minute when he dropped, because I really didn't know. I just saw players sort of like no longer running, and the camera panned to him, and I was broken really, because in the last couple of weeks, this boy have run his legs out. He has been in on goals four different times, almost, scoring, had keeper save, and he has shot slightly, away from target. Like, the manager has been big on him, how energetic he is during training, how full of spirit, how much he really wants this. We can even see it from whatever amount of minutes you give him, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 45 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever minutes you have Mason on the floor running the grass. We could see clearly that Mason really desires, this thing. He has this hunger for it, and it's such a shame. It is such a shame that Mason isn't able to, get past his injury woes. I'll be very honest with you. I sincerely was emotional. Like the very moment the camera pan was missing, I was gutted for the lad, and I just can only wish him a quick recovery. I'm just hoping that it's not something too severe. I hope in the next couple of weeks we'll see him back on the grass. Really.
Do you feel City will sack Pep?
Nah.
How wasn't this bad though?
Nah, it's not. You see. Oh,
as bad as it was for Ten Hag, man, it wasn't this bad. One win 11.
Ahmed, we are not sort of like trying to be predictors of doom or prophets of doom. But you remember we said this was going to happen. We predicted this to happen last season because a lot of things, we could see that the team cohesion was there. But it was like the threat level was beginning to reduce. Teams were now becoming confident to play Man City. They were showing signs of breaking. They were winning games. Yes, last season they won games by some decent margins. I'm talking goals here, but it wasn't fluid. We particularly also mentioned how on the term, Haaland could be to their detriment. We said all these things last season because of the way he plays football, because what teams are doing right now, example today, Lichama marked KDB. And he made sure that KDB didn't get any beautiful delivery, bar the chance he had in the first half, towards almost the last kick of the first half where he shot with his left foot. That was literally the only thing KDB had to do that was maybe towards creativity or towards goal creation or chances in the entire moment he was on the grass. The thing here is that these players have been this consistent. Let me not say all of them, but the core players like KDB have been there for the last 7 years. Am I right? 6.5, 7 years. Gundogan doesn't have the legs anymore. That's not to take away his brilliance. Phil Foden, we know that even last season his performances were questionable, particularly mid-season and that. So it's the signs were there of the cracking sort of, and then we could see with the signings that have been coming into Manchester City, they haven't really flourished. We've seen Grealish, which for me, you remember, we were never big fans of him. That's why we hoped that he never got himself into Manchester United, because I never thought he was that level that the English media was sort of like portraying him to be. For me, I've always thought that he was okay, a mid-table guy, because you can't just say that your strength is just widening the pitch and winning free kicks. Just starts at the most tackles, and look at your chances created, your assists and goals and all that. They're nothing for a winger, and particularly the way football is played this day. We now see Doku, for me, physical and all that. Mazraoui shut him out today, and that's why I always say Doku, for me, his football IQ for me is below average. I wouldn't have Doku. He has the pace, the energy, whatever. He can give you in 6-7 games. He can give you 2 brilliant or 2.5 brilliant games. So the signs were there. Matheus Nunes he hasn't really cemented himself. He's played in the middle of the park. He's played out wide. He has played probably like a double 10. He hasn't really sort of like. There's nothing really. Guardiola, yes, good on the ball, scores the goal, but nothing really. If you attack Guardiola, we saw it today. If you attack Guardiola, he's gonna cave. He's gonna cave. So we saw these things. So for me, it's not magic, and there's no point sacking him. Really, I think it's about their recruitment, and then again about Pep Guardiola, because he's not really the kind of guy who is patient with 17-year-olds, 19-year-olds, the likes of Oscar Bobs and all of that. We could see with Cole Palmer. We could see with the lap striker guy. He's not the kind of manager who is patient with these teenagers or these slightly older youths or whatever, or maybe just those around their early 20s. So he's not really patient with them. So yeah, those prospects. So they're still, if you look at the names that have been mentioned or Manchester City is being linked with, they are still more like finished products. The guy, the Ziv Wits or whatever from Bayer Leverkusen, all these guys, they're still looking for more like finished products, or when I say established. Yeah. So like more like established players. So really, we saw this coming. It's just that it took one more season, but our prediction was last season. So for me, I'm particularly not surprised, and I don't think that sacking Pep Guardiola is not entirely the fault here. If you ask me, players are aging. Our teams, there are very good managers in the Premier League, young, hungry managers right now in the Premier League. I'll be honest with you, the Tottenham guy, Chelsea,
Tottenham guy is not young.
Sorry, yeah. Well, but like what I say, let me not say young, but I said both young and very good managers in the Premier League. Yeah. So like you have very good managers in the Premier. Also, let's not take away Marco Silva of Fulham. We see what he's doing with Fulham. We see what Nunes Espirito is doing with Nottingham. We were speaking, we were on the phone yesterday, and we were sort of like dating back Nunes Espirito's so they were very difficult to play. They were one of the dreadful, sort of like mid-table, most dreaded teams because like they will come to your home and they will boss you. They really want to of play. That's how confident Nuno's sides are known to be. So honestly, I don't think sacking Pep Guardiola. Are you sacking Pep Guardiola for who? I really think that City should take this season and the next season to then build. Let KDB go. Let Gundogan go. Let Kovacic go, just pay the price, or you can keep maybe one of Kovacic or Gundogan, let KDB go, and just let Bernardo Silva go, because we said this thing, I think was it you and I or who, last couple of months, where we are pointing out that ever since Bernardo Silva tried to force his move to Barcelona, he has never been the same player for Manchester City. He has never been the same player for Manchester City. So there's quite a lot of things. It's no longer Pep. Like, for instance, the game today, really, the second goal, I could understand for even the first goal was an error. That's what I'm saying. The coach can't coach that. We've seen Pep Guardiola's side from Barcelona to Bayern Munich and then in Manchester City. He can't coach that. That's not him. That's not him telling Matheus Nunes to pass that ball carelessly backward towards the goalkeeper that Ahmad had to take. He wasn't the one that asked this guy not to control Matheus Nunes, not to control his attempt to tackle on the ball upon recovery that way before he gave out the penalty. Same also with the diagonal from Ahmad. Ahmad made the stutter run, watched his run, so he's not offside. I felt like Guardiola, who was there, was it Guardiola or the Portuguese central back? I thought you should have closed up with him, sort of like Ahmad is little, just a little sort of like nudge or something, would disbalance him if he had come closer. So the coach said that players should take responsibility. That's what I'm saying also. It's the same thing. The way, trust me, the way I've defended Manchester United managers, it's the same way I'm going to defend Pep in this point. I understand it happens. It's a period, it's a phase, but it's expected after an amazing 6 calendar years, beautiful football, some of the best football we've seen in England in a very long time by a far margin. And so for me, for me, I'm a football fan. I'm not one of those who is quick to, talk shit about players or managers or whatever. This man has done so beautiful well for football. You can blame him for certain things, but he has been a plus for the game of football. If you are truly a lover of football, who loves football to really be played well, I think it's also, for neutrals, it will be a sad thing to watch Pep Guardiola and his City side sort of crumble.
What are your final thoughts? Let's round up. Finally.
Yeah. Are you talking about the game today?
Yeah, the game. Let's round up.
Man, for me, it was an exciting game. I was speaking with a wonderful when Manchester United went to go down, and he was like, Manchester United is about to ruin his weekend again. I said no. I said, like, this game, there is more to this game, because like not until that goal, Manchester United kept City at bay. There was nothing, no threat. Licha was stuck on KDB. Maguire did an excellent job on Haaland, which gave KDB sort of like the freedom. Sorry, which gave what's his name again? Matthias de Ligt, rather, the freedom to sort of then like sort of marshal the ball controls and everything, because Maguire was going for the first duels, and then it's more like the Vidic, Rio Ferdinand sort of like parity when they play. Ahmad, again, exceptional. Anytime the ball went far right, it was exceptional. I thought like, oh man, Ugarte, God bless his soul. Excellent today in the middle of the park. He wasn't scared to stick his leg into some of the very tight and, whatever difficult tackles. He was there on Phil Foden and Bernardo Silva. He was there. He made sure they felt it. He made sure they enjoyed. Kobe Mino for me again was very calm. I liked how he today, to be honest, like in the mid block and low block, I liked how he sort of like steadied the midfield, brought the calm, and allowed Ugarte to do the dirty work. And at sometimes we saw also Kobe Mino go to nick those, good passes and also even go physical as much as winning balls off Gundogan's and Bernardo Silva's and Phil Foden's, as we saw throughout the game. Haaland, for me, he did an excellent job tying out Ruben. Is it Ruben Neves or what? Yeah. I really enjoyed, because if you saw at the beginning of the second half, the manager was telling him to run more diagonal, and it happened. The more sort of like taking the central back away from the heart of his defense, it made really sense. Plus, again, to Anthony, you see what I was talking about Anthony yesterday on the phone. Anthony brings stability. He improves our going forward. For me, Anthony, this formation suits him more as a right wing back. And I say anytime he's on the floor, he sort of like releases Ahmad. He sort of like allows Ahmad to then go in or operate freely at the wide right and do whatever, because you know that Anthony is going to run back to cover. He's going to win the ball, retain the ball, pass the ball backward or into the middle of the park and not lose possession. To be honest with you, I'm so impressed with the team. I saw a shape. In possession and off possession. I saw Manchester United controlling the ball for good 15 minutes. We were good on possession. The only thing is that for me, I think, and that will come with time, yeah, I think the passes need now to be quicker. But it's just been about a month. Probably we're going to see that as we progress. I just need those passes to then come quicker, the decisions to sort of be quicker, but they are becoming more confident on the ball. Licha, God bless you, so amazing delivery going forward to Ahmad that led to the second goal. Bruno was exceptional today. He wasn't careless again. Bruno wasn't careless today. He wasn't careless. He really controlled the middle of the park. I saw him so many times calling for calm, calling for, the press and everything. So for me, it was an all-round performance, if you ask me. The substitutions also, I think they were timely and they were also impactful. I'm talking now Zexi and because Zexi brought something different, and it was his presence that was sort of like giving the midfield, the central backs more confidence to think they can talk in higher, which now allowed for the diagonal, because Ahmad now sort of like closed in, and then Anthony sort of like closed in at the far right, and then which now allowed Ahmad the space to sort of like run in, because Sexy was already sort of like tucked in the middle of the park. So for me, the players, kudos to them. We saw players who were obedient, who were willing to sort of like play out the manager's tactics or the manager's instruction for the first time in a very long while. The challenge now has been back-to-back wins. I hope we can then get a second win and then try to see how we can work our way up. Like I say, the season is not over. 9 points, it's still very possible to get up there into the top 4 and finish comfortably. And I mean it, I'm very confident, finish comfortably in a Champions League position. We're beginning to see that the players are receptive of what the manager wants to play. They are really willing to play it, and they are becoming more responsible. So I'm very, very excited for the result today. And
all right, Dan. Thank you very much for joining me.
Yeah. Thank you, Ahmed. I enjoyed the win. It's been a while since. Okay, we had we didn't win them last season. I think it was the season before that we had
won the FA Cup final.
Yeah. So it's a good win, well fought win. For me, it was a 3-4-3 masterclass. And yeah, I'm really.
Bye-bye. Go and celebrate. Bye-bye. Leave me alone. Go and celebrate. Go and celebrate.
Yeah, man.
Celebrate. Have a lovely day.
Yeah, enjoy your evening, Ahmed. Yeah.